Hey everybody, Steve here at the Illinois Recording Studio. Well, what have we here? Well, I'll tell you what we have here. This is really great fun. These are, what you see before you are the new Slingerland RADIOKING snare drums. And how did this come about? I'll tell you how that came about. But first of all, what is a Slingerland RADIOKING snare drum? Okay, there's going to be some people out there who know very well what it is, but some younger folks may not know what that means. What's a RADIOKING? For that matter, they may be going, what's Slingerland? Well, Slingerland was one of the greatest American drum companies starting in the 20s, all the way on through into the late 70s. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Amazing instruments, always top quality. And they were very innovative. Back in the 30s, they started to come up with a drum that they called the RADIOKING, because there was no TV, it was only radio for broadcasting. And the RADIOKING snare drum is basically what you see over here on my right. In the early 30s, they started to create these drums. They are a solid steam bent shell. And then the hardware at that time was nickel, and later on it was chrome. They had what is called this 3-point strainer, meaning it attaches to the side of the shell in 3 spots, 3-point. The snare wires extended beyond the bottom of the head for extra sensitivity, so they went out farther than the shell. And the drums were amazing. They were 8-lug drums. They were what they used to call these stick chopper rims, because they're very straight metal, and back at this point in time they were kind of tough on sticks. And of course they had an internal muffler, tone control here as well to adjust the sound. And these drums were fantastically popular, amazing drums, still highly sought after today by people who are looking for a high quality solid shell wood drum from that era. And plus, think about it, this was wood that was done in the 30s. That was old growth wood already, and it's had the opportunity to age for 90 years on top of it all. So they're great drums. Okay, so fast forward to where we are about 4.5 years ago. The Slingerland company was owned by Gibson at this particular point in time, and Gibson was ready to sell it, because Gibson really had no business being in the drum business. And someone told me once, said, you should buy Slingerland. And I said, no, I don't have the ability to do it justice. And fortunately, Chris Lombardi bought Slingerland as a birthday present for his dad, Don. And they took that on. The trick of it is, that came right before COVID. I think they acquired it in 2019. And then we all got slapped upside the head with COVID in 2020, and it put everything else off to the side for quite a long time. Well, now we fast forward to the current day, and the drums are here. And the beginning of the Slingerland line is the RADIOKING snare drums. And what they have are, for starters, you've got basically 2 different sizes, 5x14, 7x14. And there are 4 different finishes. There's black diamond pearl, which is a traditional finish from that era. There is white marine pearl, which will be a brighter white marine pearl, as you'll see when the photos go over. This drum to my right, the original from the 30s, is white marine pearl, but of course over the years that has changed and mellowed. We call it, it's got a nice creaminess to the color. But this will be a brilliant white marine. There is also a blue and silver Duco lacquer, and another that's, it's like black and gold, but it's really more like a reddish brown and gold lacquer. So they're beautiful. There's a 5x14 and 7x14 of each, only 50 drums of each size in each color. So 400 total for starters. Now, what they have done here with these drums, in terms of replicating the hardware, they have done an incredible, incredible job of replicating everything down to the nth degree. It's just beautiful. So everything you see here is brand new, reproduced specifically for Slingerland by the good folks at DW. And you've got the 3-point strainer here, and you'll see everything is nickel plated, as the drums were back in the day. Nickel plated. 3-point strainer, these extension bridges to keep the wires moving outside the head, wires, and if you see here on the snare side and also on the extended butt side, you've got these 2 little wheels. These little wheels were on the first versions of RADIOKINGs, only for about 2 years, and those wheels are designed to do some extra fine tuning of the wires on the head. So they missed nothing. The internal tone control is here as well. The rims are nickel over brass, as they were in these days, and they're double flanged, slightly a little bit thicker so they won't do much damage on your sticks. But they're just fantastically beautiful drums. Now, what are you going to do for a shell? These are solid shells. It isn't technically a RADIOKING snare if it doesn't have a solid shell. Well, we at Craviotto have the honor of making the solid shells for these drums. So we're very happy to be able to do that, and I know Johnny Craviotto would be thrilled to know that his solid shells are now gracing these Slingerland RADIOKING drums. So they're wonderful instruments. They're beautiful. And I'm so glad to see the Slingerland name being brought back the proper way. It was a great American legacy brand, and it's just a wonderful thing to see it done the proper way, and I'm really excited about the whole initiative. It's great. In addition to what you see right here, we'll get some photos of this, but they come with a beautifully padded case that's identified as the Slingerland RADIOKING, and also comes with a certificate because each drum is numbered. And also included here is a RADIOKING calfskin batter head, because back in the day, this is the 30s, there were no plastic heads until the late 50s. So there is a calfskin batter. Now the drum ships with a plastic head and the heads are embossed Slingerland RADIOKING. It's a wonderful thing. So we're really excited about this. You'll see on this large drum, of course, this drum, the lugs were this center mount lug. But during that 30s era, they also made the deeper drums, the 7x14s, this is 6.5, with double row of lugs, just like you see here. So this is an old original, and these are two of the new ones. So I'm going to play each one a little bit for you, and you're going to find that there's a great versatility here, great sensitivity with the Craviotto shell, of course. And the way they built these drums and mechanisms, they're flawless. They work beautifully. I'll also test a little bit on each one of these with the internal tone control, so you can see how you can get different sounds out of the drum just by dialing in a little bit of the muffler. I know a lot of people don't want mufflers these days. It's not a bad idea to have one, because you can dial in, take some overtones out like that, like nothing. Really simple. So here's a golden oldie, and I haven't even changed the head on this. This has a Ludwig Rockers heavy coated batter head on it. This is from my personal collection, but here it is. Now we got the 5 and the 7, and I tuned these down. I tuned these appropriately here. So it's a little lower than I normally tune, but to give you a sense for the versatility here. Here we go. So the 5x14. Tone control. Now we'll back it off, back to the original. And of course you can dial the snares up, down, whatever you want to do with them. Lots of versatility here. Dynamics are huge. Now the 7x14, going to be throatier. Now, tone control. So you got all sorts of versatility with these, and give you a sense for the dynamic range on these things. The tuning range is huge. As we said, because it's a solid shell, Craviotto shell, you'll be able to tune these up, down, anywhere that you would like to, in between, anywhere at all that you feel like tuning it. Just for the heck of it, let's take this 7, right? All right, there you go. Here's where we got it. I'm not even going to touch the bottom head. And when I tune all of my drums, I tune the top head tighter than the bottom. But that's personal preference. Each of you can do it any way you like. But let's just see what this 7 does once we crank it up to a totally different level. You think, oh, you turn it up, it's going to choke, it'll be lousy. It won't sound good, right? No choking there. Let's do the same thing here. That's down a lot lower than I normally tune. Well, crank it up. And again, you got the benefit here of the resonance and the projection and the sensitivity of a solid shell, because there's very little glue on a solid steam bent shell, makes it such that you can do things like this and not have to worry about it too much. So let's see. Man, that's cranked. Is that going to sound good or not? Let's see. And that's cranked. Dry it up a little bit. And we can take it back down. And again, you don't have to spend a lot of time. You don't need any drum dials for this. The drum will do what you need it to do without anything mechanical. Just needs you. So, there you have it. I'm really excited about this. You can see these at several dealers across the country, worldwide probably too. But we're real happy to have these. Of course, I'll have them in my shops as well. I couldn't be happier to see these drums back on the market and see the Slingerland brand make its debut and in the good hands of the folks at DW. So, I'm excited and hope you will be as well. Thanks.